The stars don't shine out here. They loom. Heavy, sharp-edged things cold as surgical steel. They do not twinkle or dance. They do not whisper promises of discovery or adventure. They simply watch, unblinking, as the remnants of our species drift through the dark like flecks of ash from a dying fire. I have stopped believing in stories. The old ones, the ones about empire and destiny, about humanity's unbreakable will, I know now they were just lies. Cheap words carved into monuments that have long since crumbled into dust. We had our chance, and we lost. I stand on the edge of Icarus Station, the wind howling through the broken ribs of its architecture. Beneath my boots, a rusted catwalk shudders under my weight, the metal brittle from years of exposure to hard vacuum. Below me, the station stretches in every direction, a skeleton of tangled spires and collapsed bridges. It was once a stronghold, the last great outpost before the black expanse. Now it is a carcass, hollow and rotting, drifting in the dead currents of space. They say it's haunted. I do not believe in ghosts, but I believe in echoes. I believe in the memories that refuse to die, in the things left behind when the mind is hollowed out and the body is repurposed. The Eidolon, that is what we call them, though their true name is something older, something too alien for our tongues to shape. At first, we thought they were gods. They were beautiful, biomechanical things of polished obsidian and liquid metal, gliding in from the void like a prophecy made flesh. They did not come with warships. They did not come with guns. They came with gifts, stronger bodies, cleaner minds, purpose, and we let them in. They did not conquer us. We gave ourselves to them. Some took their gifts willingly, embracing the sleek perfection of metal-threaded flesh, the quiet peace of the collective mind. Others resisted, first, but the Eidolon were patient. They knew that fear fades, that desperation erodes conviction, that the promise of something better would eventually break us. And it did. That was 100 years ago, or maybe 1,000. Time does not work the same way anymore. Not since the hollowing. I should have died long before now. My neural implants tell me I am 43. My body says otherwise. It does not ache. It does not falter. It simply endures. But I feel stretched, like something wearing thin, like a man standing at the edge of a great abyss, waiting for the inevitable fall. My HUD flickers in the corner of my vision, scrolling through faded mission logs, old records from a war we already lost. Icarus Station. Last known population, 160,000. Current population, 72. 72 souls, scattered through the station's corpse, clinging to whatever scraps of existence they can find. It will not be enough. The initiative will come for them. The Eidolon will come for them. And soon there will be nothing left at all. A distant rumble shatters the silence, shaking the metal beneath my feet. Engines. The patrol is late. They always are. I turn my head, my cybernetic eye adjusting to the distant glow of thrusters igniting against the dark. The ship is a Vulture-class dropship, its hull scarred and pitted from decades of atmospheric burns and firefights in forgotten wars. It moves with the slow, methodical grace of something that has done this 1,000 times before. Initiative forces, the last remnants of human authority. They say they still fight the Eidolon, but I have seen the things they do, the people they take, the things they create. They are no better. A voice crackles to life in my earpiece, distorted by the interference of old machinery. Rook, you there? It's Tessa. I exhale through my teeth, adjusting the rifle slung across my back. Yeah, we've got a target. Priority retrieval. No kill order. Package is fragile. Fragile. That is initiative speak for important. Or dangerous. I roll my shoulders, feeling the cold weight of my armor press against my skin. Details. Human. Maybe. That makes me pause. District 9. Inner Spire. Don't be late. The comm cuts out, leaving me alone again with the station's slow decay. I push away from the railing and start moving, my boots echoing through the dead corridors. The air smells of ozone and rust, thick with the scent of dying machines. The walls are streaked with ancient blood, faded to dark brown, the remnants of battles no one remembers. Lights flicker in the distance, guttering and weak, barely holding back the encroaching dark. Above me, pipes shudder and groan, venting bursts of superheated steam into the cold air. Somewhere far below, something skitters across the floor, metal claws scraping against steel. I do not look back. My HUD flickers again, overlaying my vision with a neon green schematic of the inner spire. It traces my target's last known location, a sector of the station long abandoned, deep in the industrial ruins where the air is too toxic to breathe for long. I do not ask questions. I just do my job. I adjust my rifle, my fingers tightening around the worn grip. The metal is cold against my skin, and then I step forward, into the dark. There is something wrong with the air in the inner spire. It isn't just the staleness, the way it clings to my lungs like damp cloth. It isn't the tang of oxidized metal, or the faint electrical burn that stings the back of my throat with every breath. It's the silence, too thick, too perfect, like sound is afraid to exist here. I move through the ruins with measured steps, my boots pressing against metal plating warped by time and gravity. The corridors are narrow and strangled with cables, conduits snaking across the ceiling like the petrified veins of some long-dead beast. My HUD maps the passage ahead in flickering green lines, but it struggles, failing to render full schematics. The initiative's files on this sector are ancient, unreliable, and that makes me nervous. There is history here, buried beneath the rust and the dust. I can feel it in my bones, in the distant shudder of the station's superstructure as it fights against entropy. Icarus Station is dying, slow and quiet, like a man bleeding out in the dark. The inner spire was once a factory district, back when the station still functioned as a trading hub. Automated foundries, assembly lines, robotics labs, now just dead husks, their machines long since scavenged or stolen. The workers that lived here are long gone, but their ghosts remain, etched into the walls in faded handprints, in old graffiti barely visible beneath layers of grime. They come from the void. No one comes back. Do not listen. The words are old, a decade, maybe more, but there is fresh paint beneath them. IT sees me. I stare at the last phrase longer than I should. The letters are jagged, uneven, scrawled by a hand that was shaking. The paint is still wet. Something scrapes against metal in the distance. I go still. The sound is slow and deliberate, the distinct rhythm of claws against steel. A dragging, uneven movement like something pulling itself forward. My neural implants activate instinctively, running predictive combat overlays, tactical paths, evasion routes, threat probabilities. The projections flicker in the corner of my vision, but the percentages don't make sense. Error. No viable engagement pattern. I tighten my grip on my rifle, keeping my breath steady. Whatever is making that sound, it isn't human, and my implants don't know how to deal with it. That's new, and I don't like new. The noise stops. I listen, forcing my breathing to slow, trying to parse movement from the distant hum of decaying power conduits. Nothing. I take another step forward, and the lights go out. Total darkness. I don't panic. I should, but I don't. Instead, my vision recalibrates instantly, my cybernetic eye adjusting to thermal scans, mapping the world in sharp contrasts of heat signatures and residual energy trails. The hallway behind me is empty, but the hallway ahead, there is something there. I don't see it, not directly, but the air is wrong. A distortion, a warping of space, as if something is folded just outside perception. The static in my neural link screeches, filling my skull with white noise and fragmented voices. Morgan Rook, what are you looking for? Do you think it matters? I bite down hard, forcing the interference out of my head. The voices are not real. They never are. The hollowing is just a myth, a rumor whispered by dying men who did not understand what they saw. I keep moving. The corridor narrows, the walls pressing closer as I descend deeper into the district. There are no more warning signs, no more old graffiti, just silence, and the feeling that I am being watched. It does not feel like the artificial, methodical gaze of a drone. It feels hungry. The chamber is massive, a vast, circular expanse, its ceiling lost to darkness, its floor covered in a thin layer of mist that shifts unnaturally, flowing in patterns that don't match the station's ventilation systems. Old loading cranes hang overhead, their arms frozen in place like rusted skeletons. In the center of the chamber, standing beneath a flickering emergency light, is my target. A girl. At least she looks like one. She is thin and ragged, her clothes torn, her hair tangled. Her skin is pale, almost translucent, and her eyes glow faintly in the dark. Not the harsh, sterile light of Eidolon augmentation. Not the cold precision of a neural implant. It is something else. Something older. I keep my rifle raised, stepping forward carefully. "Rook!" Tessa's voice crackles over my comms. Distorted, barely audible. "Talk to me. You have visual?" "I have the target," I say. "Something's wrong." Pause. Then static. And then softly, "They already know." The girl tilts her head, staring at me with those empty, glowing eyes. Her lips part slightly, as if about to speak. Instead, the walls begin to move. I don't mean shifting machinery. I don't mean collapsing infrastructure. I mean the walls themselves breathe. Metal twists and softens, the industrial plating pulsing like flesh, veins of dark fluid threading through it in slow, mechanical rhythms. The mist at my feet thickens, creeping higher, curling around my legs like grasping fingers. My HUD spasms, my vision flickering with corrupted overlays. Unknown signal detected. System error. They see you. The girl steps forward. "You're late," she whispers, and then she smiles. Her teeth are wrong. Not jagged, not broken, just too many. The girl smiles, and the world around me shudders. The air in the chamber grows thick, pressing against my skin like an unseen hand. The lights flicker erratically, casting jagged shadows that twist and elongate in ways that should not be possible. The walls pulse in slow, rhythmic convulsions, exhaling something wet and metallic into the air. I can hear them now. Whispers. Not words. Not voices. Something deeper. Older. They rise from the mist curling around my legs. A low chorus of murmuring breaths, as if the station itself has begun to speak. My hands tighten around my rifle, my finger hovering over the trigger. Something is terribly wrong. The girl tilts her head, the faint glow in her eyes pulsating in sync with the walls. The light doesn't shine from her irises. It radiates from behind them, as if something else is watching me through her. I force myself to speak. "Who are you?" She doesn't blink. "You already know." Her voice is soft, almost childlike, but there is something in it, something inhuman, a layered resonance that vibrates through my skull. My neural implants screech, flooding my mind with static. Error. Unauthorized signal detected. Disconnect immediately. Pain lances through the base of my skull, a sharp, electric sting that sends me staggering back. I force a breath through clenched teeth, struggling to suppress the foreign presence clawing at the edges of my mind. It's inside me, not a voice, not a thought, presence, watching, learning, becoming. I steady my aim, locking the girl in my sights. I should shoot. I should end this now before whatever this is spreads, before it takes me. But then she steps forward, slowly, moving with a grace that is almost gentle. Her feet make no sound against the metal floor. The mist curls away from her like something afraid. "You feel it, don't you?" she says. Her lips don't move, but I hear her, not through my ears, not through my comms. She is inside my head. I try to move, but my limbs feel heavy, my nerves buzzing with something wrong. The walls shudder again. This time, the metal splits. From the cracks, something emerges. It is not Eidolon. It is not human. It is something else. Something vast. The first thing I notice is the hands. Dozens of them, pale and elongated, pushing free from the walls. Their fingers far too long, bending at impossible angles. Some are smooth, untouched, human in shape if not in nature. Others are twisted, stitched together, the bones shifting beneath the flesh like something unfinished. Then the eyes. They bloom along the ceiling, the walls, the floor, Clusters of them, wet and glistening, shifting like the pupils are searching. They do not blink. They do not waver. They only watch. The mist boils, rising in thick, slow tendrils. It moves with purpose, coiling through the air like a living thing. And then I hear it. Not a whisper, not a voice, a feeling, a cold, creeping knowledge that burrows into the marrow of my bones, unfurling like a sickness that has always been there, waiting to be noticed. This is what came before. This is what the Eidolon feared. This is what waits at the edge of the void. The girl is still staring at me, still smiling. Now you understand, she whispers. And I do. The Eidolon never came to conquer us. They came to save us. Not from war, not from ourselves, but from this, from the hunger, a force older than light, a presence that moves in the dead spaces between worlds, consuming, repurposing, hollowing. The Eidolon didn't take away our free will. They cut away the parts of us that the hunger could use. And it wasn't enough, because the hunger is still here, still spreading. And now it has found me. The girl raises her hand, reaching toward me with delicate fingers, her touch hovering just above my temple. You can join us, or you can run. There is no fight. There is no war. Only choice. The same choice humanity has been running from since the beginning. The choice the Eidolon tried to make for us. I do not answer her. I turn and run. I don't look back. The station twists around me. The walls no longer metal but flesh. The corridors pulsing, shifting, devouring. My boots slam against the trembling ground, my breath coming in ragged, panicked gasps. The air is thicker now. The voices are getting louder. The station is waking up. I reach the docking bay just as the first screams erupt behind me. I do not look. I do not listen. I throw myself into the shuttle's cockpit, slamming my fist against the launch controls. The engines roar, the hull rattling as the old thrusters struggle against inertia. The air tastes of iron. The hunger is watching me leave. The girl stands in the threshold, still smiling, her empty, glowing eyes unblinking. It's already too late, Rook. The ship tears away from the station, breaking free of its gravitational pull. My body slams back against the seat, my breath coming in shallow, panicked bursts. I stare out the viewport. Icarus Station is changing. It is no longer a dead thing. It is no longer a station. It is a womb. It is a mouth. And it is opening. I do not send a warning. I do not tell Tessa, because there is nothing to warn them about. It is already happening. Not just here. Everywhere. The Eidolon knew. They tried to prepare us. To strip away the parts of us that could be used, to hollow us before something else could. And we fought them for it. We called them monsters, because we did not understand the thing they were trying to stop. We do now. I set the shuttle on a blind course, heading for deep space. There is nowhere left to run. But I will not be taken. I am the last free human. I will not let it have me. I will burn before I change. Above me, the stars are watching. They do not shine. They do not twinkle. They are cold, sharp things, unblinking, as the hunger reaches out into the dark and begins to feed.